Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Westward Bees with Bryan and Todd. Charlie's on here, and we have our special guest in the back room waiting. And I don't know. I don't know what to talk about right at the moment, Bryan, except that it's very warm over here. I know it's probably going to make a lot of people mad, and Charlie's got snow in the background.
Maybe
But
I need.
it,
It's melting.
it was 78 yesterday, and it was 75 today, and it's supposed to be 80 on Saturday. So it's definitely it's going to get very swarmy very quick. So I don't, who knows?
There's a warmer feeling.
There you go. That's that's summer. So
Well, it's actually it rained today here this afternoon, so it's melting out pretty nicely.
Yeah,
It's still
no, good.
it's going to be warmer this weekend,
Yeah,
and then go back to in the 30s come Monday.
yeah. Oh, nice.
And we're live now, so yeah, we had a great. I let everybody here that's in the chat they didn't come to EMBA. All three of us were there. We had a lot of good times, especially in the evenings. Bryan there, I don't know whether he made his talk debut or not, but he did for me. Did a fine job on the different subjects that he was talking about to the folks there at Missouri. And then after, like you say, after the festivities for the day, we all were in the same hotel area, and we could sit around and chat and sit in the restaurant there and have something to eat and drink and whatever. And it was, I found it quite relaxing and the best part of the whole thing, really, for me, because I know I talked to Todd at one of the evenings dinners that we didn't really get to talk to each other at Nobby. Because you were running around trying to see everything, and I was trying to see everything, and that we did have certain nights of the week we did get together with different people, but not like it was here, especially when it's right at the same location. You don't have to drive nowhere. We're all at the same, place to stay and all, and I found that quite relaxing.
Yeah, it was. I like it. That's a nice venue. I know they're going back next year, but after that, I don't know what they're going to do. But it's a nice conference. I really like it.
Well, one thing about it was small enough to where you could actually walk up to some of the other speakers, Kent Williams or some of the other people, and get to know them, and they, and talk to them about it. Maybe you had a special question about a presentation or something like that, and that was quite nice. I really liked that.
Bryan and I had lunch with Kent out there in the front lobby, and then we sat in the beginners the beginner side before Kent was going to speak, and we were just sitting next to him chit chatting for a while, and then he, it was his turn, and he's a really nice guy. He had.
I got to thinking about he had some information about the virals or the viruses, within the eye. And I went up there and asked him about a few things about it. And then I really would like to talk to him again about it and make sure I got my information, correct and all that about what it was that he stated where the bees groom each other, which in turn, that's where the viruses are, which in turn, they ingest the viruses. Yeah. And then, of course, the gut is where the bees try to combat the viruses. And he was talking about thymol. And I don't know whether it was the fact that you would, let's say, thymol in like Aprigard, which was exterior inside the hive, would help kill the viruses, or if you took Hive Alive, liquid concentrate, put it in your feed, and it does have thymol in it, whether or not that actually would help the bee combat the viruses with inside the gut when it drinks it. So that was something I wanted to get some more clarification from him if he really ever if he knows,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. I wonder, he is a commercial beekeeper, and I'm not sure. And I know he's the EAS master beekeeper, but it's like, where do you pick up all this information that he
Yeah,
has?
he lives it. He
I mean,
lives it.
it's like, where do you get all? He must. I know does helps out certain colleges that do experiments, and maybe that's where he gets his inside information there on that.
Bryan, how are you doing up there in Colorado?
I'm good. We just finished up with the EMBA conference, came back home. I started feeding up my bees, and then it got windy. So it's been like 2 days straight where I've been waiting for the wind to stop. So tomorrow is going to be a little calmer. So I'm going to again pick up and start running around to feed my bees up. But I'm excited to, even though we had a great time looking back at Embo, we've got a pretty exciting guest on tonight as well. It's always neat to kind of get a pulse of what other parts of the beekeeping world are like. And Todd, we've got a guest, like a neighbor out in California. I think it's really exciting to get an idea of what that queen rearing is starting to look like out in California at this time of the year.
It's so funny. So I've known this guest for I think it's going on 6 years now. We talk on the phone a lot. I've ordered queens from him a bunch of times. I love his carnies. The hybrid carnies he has are really good, really good. And he's just an all-around great guy and a great dad, which is the most important thing. But he, if I ever have a question, I just, hey man, what's up? And we just start going, and vice versa. He's called me a couple of times asking a couple of questions. I mean, it's just so much fun knowing him. And so let me bring him on.
Without further ado.
Without further hesitation, welcome to the show, Jose Uribe from Uribe Honeybees. Jose.
Hey, Jose.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. How is the weather treating you up there in Northern California?
I mean, Mother Nature. She's been bringing a lot of rain this early winter. I mean, the month of January was pretty dry here.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was just going to be a great cruise control spring, but then here comes the rains one after another. Yeah. And now we're behind on the schedule, but we need the rain. I mean, I know Bryan's, they're dealing with drought situations over there. So we're really fortunate to be getting pounded with some rain because this is the first time I think I read in 15 years that California is not in a drought.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's and you know what's going to come up this year in bundles is blue curl.
Oh yeah.
Blue curl it's going to be on this year for sure. And then also, wildflower is going to be crazy. But let me ask you this. Around here, down here, probably since late October, early November, wild radish and wild mustard has been going. It has not stopped. It's still out there right now. I was in my boxes the other day. I can't tell you how much nectar I shook. I mean, every frame just, it wasn't a little, it was a lot. I mean, a lot. So do you have that up there?
We have the mustard. I've never seen wild radish.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know where that starts. It's definitely not up here, but we do see an abundance of the wild mustard. And then what I also notice is a lot of growers now. I don't know if you've seen in the Central Valley, but a lot of these almond growers are throwing in. They're part of the Seed for Bees program.
Oh yeah.
Right in those pollinator rows or in every other row, they're putting this mustard seed, which is so deluxe for the bees, man. Just to give them that little push,
And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the growers get a benefit out of it because it adds nitrogen to the soil, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a win-win for everybody. Well, that's cool. Well, let's get into the questions because I know Max is probably gonna want to see you here pretty soon. So the first question I have for you is, what is a typical year? When does it start? When does it end? What happens in the middle?
Okay. So, for example, the beginning of the year is we're already looking at our potential daughters that we've selected from the previous year from existing breeders. That's where we're marking them down. Okay, these ones went through the winter, so now they passed that first step, which is population, mite levels, and are they potential pollinators, right? Even though we don't put our potential breeders in pollination, we want, because that's our goal is to have populated hives for guys that want big, strong hives. And since we're in California and most of our customers are commercial guys that do pollination in some level, and we want to be able to cater that. So we're targeting all of those daughters, and here we start to do hygienic testing where we're freezing brood. Freezing brood, testing it, making sure they're at least at 90% and above to even be, in the lineup.
Yeah.
From there, now it's we're going to get our first round of bulk bees from some of our vendors, because we can shake our bees, and if a lot of guys, viewers that don't know what shaking bees is so we have these shaker units. They're custom made to fit our boxes, which we run a 10-frame box system. We'll put the box right on top, and we start shaking the frames one by one, and all those bees go down below into a basket that has an excluder. We then find the queen, if she's in there, put her back, and now we have bulk bees. So we start to get into that bulk bee where we're building up for our cell builders. We call them our builders, to be able to graft and do cells. Next step is, raising these cells, and then getting ready for nuke installs, which will be in 2 weeks, pretty much 10 days. Saturday will be my first graft.
Nice.
Then install those nukes and get ready for the season. We have about 10 days to try to get all of the bees out of the almonds. So it's like once we graft, it's go. Every night we're going out getting the bees out of the almonds, and it's going to be a rodeo because it's wet out there. And if anybody knows, orchards, I mean, that soil is it's something else, man. It really will test your abilities of machinery and your grit. So just don't get stuck. Just pedal to the metal and just go and get those bees out. From there, it's just queen caging, making up numbers, and getting bees ready to go to the Midwest for the honey crop.
Oh, that's right, because you're going up to, is it Montana?
Well, Wyoming. We do Wyoming. This year we may do South Dakota. That the operation in Wyoming did sell. Unfortunately, we were interested in seeing if that would be for Kelly and I, if that would be an avenue that we could take and purchase that operation, but it was just too much, and it happened so fast, and we just weren't ready. So it was a bummer because it's almost a 100-year-old family business that just they sold out, and it's kind of sad when you see an operation that's been through so much, and they have to sell because this industry is tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
But I mean, that's just it from here on out. It's just queen production,
Yeah.
and then the summer is all honey production. But we'll run our. I mean, we'll downsize maybe half the operation, but we'll run queens until the last week of August.
Okay, that was the next question. Yeah. So, yeah, I remember I got some from you right there in late August. Remember they came down here late or something. I panicked and I got on the phone. And
Yeah.
he's like, "What? What's going on?" So,
Yeah.
yeah, but they were here. They was just UPS snafu, I guess. One thing I need to correct you on, though, sir, is it is not almonds. It's called almonds. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I know I've told you that before, but just how
Yep.
it is.
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. But when does Brian? When does your season get to rolling?
Pretty soon. It's all temperature dependent. We could get snow and Arctic blast in April, so we'll see our first swarm in probably the second week of April if it's good. I'm curious about that Wyoming trip that you took. I saw that a little bit last year. Were you
Okay.
spinning out honey in Wyoming? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you would go. So is it a dearth in California? Is that what you're doing? You're just chasing the flow throughout the country?
Yeah. Well, not really. Yeah. Well, we are chasing a flow. So we have some friends, and obviously we only send bees to people that we know are good friends that we trust, and we've known this guy for 16 years. Well, no, longer than that. Holy smokes, I'm old. So yeah, it's been a while since I've known this operation, and we ship them out there because they have irrigated alfalfa over there. Irrigated
Okay.
alfalfa, and the clover is just unbelievable. And
Yeah.
this happened to just be one of those years that just really put out. I mean, even though I ran story and a halves, and for those that don't know what story and a halves are, it's just a deep and a shallow, a medium box. I run my deeps on the top box and my medium at the down below, and we made on average 113 pounds per colony.
Wow.
There in that area, and that was the northwest part of Wyoming, over in that Cody Yellowstone area.
I saw you stopped in Thermopolis that one day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been going to Wyoming so many times that it's so many cool. Like, even though it's the least populated state in the country, it is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
It really truly is. Has a lot of great landmarks, a lot of good things to go see. It's the first time I ever seen in my life a massive herd of elk. I think it was 300-400 elk just in a rush. We spooked it going out hiking, and I caught it on camera. It was the coolest thing I've seen in my life, really.
Nice.
So
just don't let anybody take you to the train station in that state.
What's that?
Don't let anybody take you to the train station in that state.
Well, why is that? I don't.
Well, that's a Yellowstone thing. The show.
Oh, is that like from the series, the Yellowstone series?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen. You know what? I just started that maybe 1 week ago. On episode 1. I've heard it was such a great series. I was like, oh, I need to check it out.
You'll know when they say take him to the train station. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal.
So when you had your bees out there on that alfalfa, are you getting alfalfa honey off of that or the clover?
It's both. It's actually it's a combination of both. And it makes such a good, unique tasting honey. But I mean,
what I was getting about the alfalfa is like years ago, the agriculture department said, hey, cut your alfalfa where it's about a third of a bloom, because it's got more protein in it for the cattle, for let's say dairy cows. And I was wondering whether they let their stuff bloom or unless it's just so many acres out there that a third of a bloom is like tremendous amount of.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So for Wyoming hay, they do it. They use that hay for their cattle beef, I guess.
Mhm.
And so they actually let it grow. So you see just fields of purple, and it was the coolest thing. Is that
yeah, that's so they're letting it
smells like purple
bloom.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It is the coolest smell. And then
Yeah,
California alfalfa.
They're letting it bloom completely, and they used to do that here on the East Coast. And the beekeepers had wonderful honey, but then when I think it was like up around the dairy state of Wisconsin or whatever. But when they stopped, when they would cut it earlier, the beekeepers, the migratory beekeepers, I guess, had to move because there wasn't a honey crop there like it was at that time as it is now.
Yeah, yep. The same thing with California. It's all dairy, so they don't let that alfalfa bloom at all over here.
So to get me up to speed, then Jose, is that you're not just queen rearing now; you're actually migratory beekeeper, putting your hives out for honey crop, and then also, I guess you're actually putting your own bees in for the pollination services too.
Yes,
and
so the honey. I've always done the honey. I just never really showcased it at that level.
Right.
Because when Kelly and I started the company, it was just we were just hammering the queen breeding side of things. But the honey's always been there, but not at this scale now. And we're hoping to add another semi.
And I think didn't you do a little bit of brokering as far as like putting bees in the almonds and stuff?
Yeah, we still broker. We still broker. We just broke around 1,400 or not 13. Yeah, around 1,400 at the most. It's just all I'm really willing to take on, just because even though we don't put them
time
in,
to do all that and workforce.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's just a lot of work. Is you got to bring in guys that you know and trust, because I mean these are your contracts, and you have a lot of liability if you put in poor quality bees, and the almond industry is
I got one other question. I don't want to take over the show here or nothing, but you were saying about your VHS queens, and you're freezing the frame, or are you taking a cylinder and pouring liquid nitrogen in there to freeze it? Is that what you're testing?
Well, we don't run VHS queens. What we do is just hygienic testing of all of our stock. So we have it's like a 3-inch PVC cylinder that we cut, and we saw off the very bottom of it, because you want it kind of very narrow so you can kind of just
kind of make it sharp
over the brood. Yep, and you get liquid nitrogen, put it in there, freeze it, and then you keep running tests. And once that stuff thaws out, you can safely take it off without damaging that brood, and then set it back in that hive, number it, and take notes, and come back 24 hours later.
And then you're looking for how many they picked, how much they uncapped and pulled the dead out.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. And I've seen another beekeeper do this years ago. So I guess, what are you getting out of that as far as information wise?
As far as information, what we're getting is how clean they are as far as their colony, as far as grooming each other and keeping the colony. Because in theory, this is a theory of this, I guess the Northern California concept is being able to breed hygienic bees, because it's a trait, right? It's not something that every breed's gonna have it. It's just a trait that we're looking for to optimize, all the other things like the yields, the population, all these other factors. It's just one
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, there was he was a master beekeeper. He's passed away now, but I mean, that test that you're describing, I've seen it done, I'll say 10 years ago or more, something that you don't hear much about anymore. Here lately, it's been the Harbo test, it's been UBO test, and things like that. So that's why I was wondering, what you're using, what information you're trying to extract from that test.
Yeah, I mean, it in a sense, it's also very cost effective just to be able to to do it yourself in house, and then you can, what you're gathering. Sorry, man, I'm texting Kelly over here. Voice. It's just being able to see things up close and seeing how, because you could get breeders, and we still get breeders, right? But we get breeders for certain reasons, obviously, to introduce new genetics wherever we feel we're lacking, right? If we're lacking in propolis, we're going to bring in some genetics from Megan Mahoney with some Caucasians, and she is a breeder that we respect. She's worked with Susan Kobe for, gosh, I don't even know how long, and she's also the one that's bringing germplasm from overseas to incorporate new different stock. She works with the USDA. I mean, Corey Stevens knows her very well. They know each other very well. So it's those kind of folks that have studied under Susan Kobe, which in my opinion, Susan Kobe is one of the top tier breeders that's existed in the country, and sharp woman, and anybody that has been a student of hers is well educated in breeding queens and stock, and those are the people that we like to source and introduce our AI breeders into our program.
So you talked about Megan. When what do you think the timeline is as far as introducing those genetics? Are you going to offer that like next year, later this year, or
so like from last year, we got this. We'll have stuff for this year, right? We get something from her every year.
Oh, okay.
And now what's cool is now she's offering for us. She's offering that we'll bring her our queens, and she'll inseminate our queens with her germplasm.
Oh.
So now we're having our own stock with her stock, rather than getting her queens and open mating with our drones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just nice to be able to switch it up, to be able to a different angle, introducing new stock, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're having germplasm into our queens.
Now, for those out there that may not know all the differences between Italian and Carney and Caucasian, what does the Caucasian bring to the table?
The Caucasian, they're a hardy bee. They make good honey producer, in my opinion. They are very, very hygienic. They have a lot of propolis. Propolis is, it's good. Something I'm sure you guys know the benefits in that propolis within the hive, and how clean and disinfective and just everything. I mean, we chew it out in the bee yard if we see it, under the lip, like we're chewing some tobacco there. So, but it's not my favorite queen stock, but the hybrid daughters, we run a lot of them, and we really do like their stock.
Out of curiosity, I know Cordovans are kind of that reddish orange. Well, reddish. What are
ginger? Yeah.
Are they the same color? Are they brown, or?
They're almost just very red. I mean, if I have a lot of pictures of some Cordovans there in my social media stuff, but they're a reddish bee. They create a lot of bees, a lot of population. So then you have the downfall of the Cordovans, is that they go through a lot of feed, and also their ability to just clean up mites is not really the best.
Yeah.
They're very prone to getting high mite counts because of the amount of brood that they're producing. And but they are, for people like in Southern California, which that's one of our main customers for Cordovans and Italian mixes, is because they are the most gentle bee out there.
Now, the color, what is the color of the Caucasian? Is it kind of close to the Cordovan, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's the original Caucasian, which it's almost like a grayish, but this one's, blackish, almost. It reminds me a lot of almost like a New World Carnelian, which is a darker with a little hint of brown.
Yeah. It's like a root beer almost, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Oh, cool. Brian,
I got a question for you, Jose.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you were a broker. You did some brokering. Last year we heard the sky was falling 62%, and then this year nothing. What's the story? Like, is it really everything's roses again?
No. My honest opinion is no. There is no way, and this is just all my opinion, there's no way that as an industry and a commercial level that everybody was able to recover from those losses. Mediocre size, if those guys that are running 3,000-4,000, yeah, I think they could recover. But the guys that are, 30 and above, I know guys personally that they didn't recover the whole number. Plus, a lot of commercial outfits did fold and sell out. So where did all these extra bees come from? Well, I just think it's a combination of year after year, people getting a little desperate in just putting in whatever they have into the orchards. And because of the rains, and then this year I would say it was almost just a flash bloom. A flash bloom is when it happens just like that. From the start of the swelling of the bud of the almond.
Right. That's the first time I heard you say that word ever.
Right. And then the rains that come actually accelerate that blossom to just explode. Everything just opens. And now we're in the middle of the rain. So it just happened so fast. So they didn't get a chance to inspect all the hives. So there was a lot of hives that were still in the trees that did not get inspected. And that's my opinion, that there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't have been there, because there's no way. Didn't
make grade, you mean?
That wouldn't have made grade if it was inspected. So that's exactly what happened. There was some good beekeepers that were left out with extra bees, guys with good bees. But the almond growers, unfortunately, they're in a hard spot because they're trying to save money. Price of almonds, they have not, they barely started creeping up. Exports are kind of starting to roll, which is good. This year, with the pollination not being as strong as it probably should have been, will drive the price of nuts up. So next year, I anticipate that it's going to be a better pollinating season, and they are going to hammer those guys and do inspections, and that's where we're going to see. We're going to see it here in the winter too. We're going to see things. Beekeepers that are on it and staying with the mite treatments. And at the end of the day, it's just about mite treatments. Making sure that you have a good regiment in your program and staying on top of it, staying clean as much as possible.
Do you participate in the ELAP program?
We did that last year because we lost. Oh my goodness! I think we lost probably around 65%.
And that was your first time filing through ELAP? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use the Nectar app to help you with the
No,
data for
no,
all that?
we are going to start with it here, hopefully here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I communicate with Max. Max has been trying to get on me for a while. He's the one of the developers there, and yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of friends that do the Nectar app. We actually get a lot of customers through referrals that use the Nectar app with our queens, tracking them.
Nice.
So that has helped our business. But yeah, I think it's a good tool to have and be able to at least see what your bees are doing in certain locations, and tracking queens and seeing what, all the information that we probably are still used to putting on pen and paper,
And my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but Nectar is structured in a way that it's gathering data. So if you are applying for ELAP, it's basically gathering that data for you as you're using that app throughout the year. So then you apply and it's compiled it for you. Is that correct?
I believe so. I think I've heard some Florida guys use it as a tool to give that information for,
Okay.
When it's asked for. I don't know what exactly they're asking, other than probably your whole practices, right? Making sure that they're ethical practices in order to mitigate the mites and all that, because they want to make sure that you're doing everything possible, right? And everything that the industry requires to keep healthy hives,
Right.
So
you have to have like records of mite treatments and stuff like
mite
that.
treatments, yeah. And it's like, a lot of folks are like, well, like California is so strict, like we have to apply, and maybe it's in Colorado and in other states, but like we have to apply to be able to use these thymol. I mean, we just got oxalic acid approved maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. I mean, that's nuts. Oxalic acid, natural substance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is what in order to use a tub of AprilGuard, which is a multi-dose thing, you have to have an applicator's license for that, I believe.
Yeah.
Here, I'm in Maryland, and you just go out and get it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I need to be in Maryland. Let me use your address. Yeah. No,
there's not enough nectar around here that I can tell.
No, it really is challenging. It makes things hard. I mean, Todd knows it's like just trying to find, like, you feel like you're going under the radar with everything. But at the end of the day, it's we're trying to keep these buggers alive, trying to do it the best that we can. But we need to be able to have our state and state governments to give us the opportunity to have all these medications that are approved everywhere else.
Right.
So, but what do you guys use? Are you guys using the Varoxan at all?
I tried it last year.
What were your thoughts?
I'm gonna go back to the Swedish shop towels this year.
How did you apply, if I could ask? How did you put
I did them on top, in between boxes. I didn't lay them over the frames. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pull the brood and the comb off of those. I just thought it was going to take too much brood area away from my brood chamber. So I laid them across, and I know that's not on label, and I know that's probably the worst data you get with those is across that way. But I mean, you look at the data with the Swedish shop towels laid that way, and they do so much better. And I'm like, why does Varoxan not work like that? But the Swedish shop towels do. So I wasn't sold.
I think that was some of the stuff like where we met Craig Rogers at this last, at EMBA, and I think it's the dosage, the fact that they found through Bob Benny and Greg Rogers, 50 grams is what kicks butt when it comes to the hive. And that I was talking to Travis with the Easy Ox, and hopefully they'll get their
Yeah.
new strips out late this winter, actually, of this year. I mean, it'll be ready for next year. 4 strips, 12.5 grams per strip, which comes out to 50 grams. Lay them across the top. You don't have the bees digging out all the nice brood comb and all that stuff. And hopefully that will, get through the EPA and get through California's EPA.
Yeah.
And all
I mean,
that.
thankfully, when I went out to Wyoming, and that's why I was able to use those oxalic acid strips. But I actually, so between, so my biggest fear is when you're chasing the honey, and I think a lot of people that chase honey are, they're gambling. For us, it's the honey prices are so low that it's the most important thing is the bees. So, but we obviously you can't treat. So, but we got the oxalic acid. So between the when we broke down on the first round, which is we just take off the honey, right, and load it up on the truck. I went in and I put 4 strips inside. So you just hang them on each bar. And I put 4 on each one. And I think that's what really saved our operation, to be able to just at least keep our numbers, just there. Because obviously it's not going to kill. It's not going to be like a flash kill or a thymol kill or amatraz kill. It's just keeps your numbers, regulated. And I think that's what happened, and it helped a lot. And for anybody that's chasing honey, I would highly recommend, just keep in mind that chasing the honey is not, it's good to do, but just you got to think about, still trying to treat, and if it's the OA strip and having to pull off your honey supers just to get them in, do it. It really does make a difference. Out of one semi that we sent, I think, maybe 20 hives didn't make it at the end of the year, and most of them went into the almonds. So it does really help, on top of all the other treatments, right? We started the year with formic acid, and just starting the spring clean, and we just Formic Pro. I had Tom from Nod come out, and because that was my first time actually using formic acid, and it was good. He took me out of my comfortable zone, right? Because I don't know if you guys ever used Formic Pro, but to me, I fear harming my bees or my queens. But I learned something that he told me. He says, you're not killing your queens that are good. You're killing your queens that are bad.
Yeah. We had this talk at Nobby this year, because I'm scared to use it. Well, now I'm going to after oranges are done.
Yeah. So I was like, well, Tom, go ahead and treat my hives the way the way you would treat yours. And some of them I was thinking, oh man, he's putting 2 pads on that. Woo.
I use the 2-pad method. Now, I don't know your climate well. I do know it gets quite hot out there in the summertime, but I always tell people, when you're using that, is I use it in September when our temperatures are cooler, and I like it to be 80 degrees or less, and I like it with a low humidity, and I'll put both pads on there, and I really have not lost any queens, with that stuff, and it does a great cleanup.
Yeah, it does.
I was listening about where you were chasing the flow and thinking about treating, and it's like, because you trace or chasing it, the flow never ends for you might say, until everything ends. And for me, 3 months, we're done. Where you might be for 6 months or more, depending on where you're located at in the country. And where, like you say, you have to kind of treat along with taking in honey at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't do that, you'll be just overwhelmed with mites.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You'll go to strip down, and in August, and then it's almost just too late, because you could kill the mites, right? But then you're just overloaded with viruses.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I've been trying to. I mean, I hear more and more this past 6 months to a year that people are starting to focus in on the viral loads and stuff and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, trying to keep the mite load down and all that. So,
Hey, Jose.
Go ahead, Todd.
Let me check in with you real quick, Jose, on a time check. Are you good right now?
Oh yeah. I haven't got the houses burning with kids or anything yet. So no,
Okay.
we're good. Yeah. No, just off the topic is I think I was telling you, Todd. I just came off of a fasting deal. Went on a 10-day fast, just water and electrolytes, and just trying to just do a whole body reset. And Kelly jumped on it, so she's on tomorrow will be her day 5.
Oh, wow.
And it's just just I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think just off the whole bees, we just got to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're staying as healthy as possible, like to be able to enjoy the things like beekeeping, which are really tough to do, lifting boxes and all that, and but just trying to live, right, and not live to get by.
When I talked to you on Sunday, you sounded very tired. You were.
Oh yeah. I was pretty drained, man. I was. I think that was I forget what day. It's day 7 for me. So. But it's a mental. It was a mental. More mental than anything. But what I will say that I got out of it is that cravings, and that it's just all in the head. Us being able to feed and be so scheduled to eat whenever we want. I mean, we do live in a country where we can eat anytime we want, right? But going through the first 3 days were horrible, and then after that, it's like your body just the food's almost overrated. If you don't have any cravings, you're not hungry.
You can live without food. You could survive without food, but you cannot survive without water. Your body can regulate itself just on water.
Oh yeah, it was easy, a gallon a day of water. So. But back to the bees.
Yeah.
So I wanted to connect those back, actually connect back to the bees and ask about this, Jose. You've got a young family, you've got young kids, you're growing your business. How do you make sure it doesn't become this monster? Like, how do you know when to stop, when the sweet spot is that, you don't keep growing and growing and growing until it gets too big that you don't know how to control it?
Well, I respect that question a lot, because that's why and I think I've spoke with Todd about it before, but that's why we downsized on the queen production, because we got to the point where I didn't get to put the kids down to sleep. I'd show up and the kids were already in bed. I didn't. Kelly and I had our relationship revolved around the bees and the schedule and swapping. Like, she would graft and then I would be out in the field, and then she had to get back home because of the babysitter deal, and she wasn't enjoying being a mom. And if that's not happening and somebody else is raising our kids, then what are we working so hard for? And that's where we said, okay, well, let's take it down a notch. I want her to be, with our kids. I want to raise our kids a certain way, and to be at least good humans. And the kids enjoy the bees. They love the bees. We have a bee yard, about 3 or 4 beehives there in Kelly's garden that Max and Kennedy can, I won't say mess with, play with or work with or whatever they have to do, and Max comes out with me as much time as he's earned, right? Depending on school, work.
Sure.
Because beekeeping in our family is a privilege to come out, and you earn that. So, for example, Max, we save him I save him one small orchard to go do with me, and go move in. And it's a small orchard, it's around 40 hives, but he gets to come along, and we get to put the bees in together, and we do that every year, or we try to do that every year for him. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But as far as growing, I think we could grow our hive numbers more, but just the queen production, we just need to stay at a certain scale, because queen production, it's really, it consumes your life. It really does. And as much as we love it, it's you have to find that medium where it's you can still come home, have dinner with the kids from time to time, or just, you know, go off for a day and take the family to go fishing, or go get an ice cream, you know. But the kids, I mean, most of you, I'm sure you guys all have kids, all grown up almost, or
A little bit older than yours, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you guys get it. It's the time goes fast, and what you
They
would
grow up quite quickly.
yeah, you know, and all you have left is those great memories, and you. But if you're not there, you don't have any, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's really important for me and Kelly. It's just to make sure that
But
we're
I mean, we have I grew up on the farm, and we still have the farm, and one of my sons has taken it over, and it's like your son, Max. I mean, that's when you're a farm family, or, for beekeeping is farming, the kids come along, and that's a skill set that they learn, something that they have that nobody else has.
Yeah.
In most cases, especially around here. And then, I'm sure he's on there driving the Hummer-Bee right now. So he's getting training on how to run machinery, and actually in turn that helps him be able to get his driver's license much easier, because he's got that skill set and of driving and knowing what to do, and and all that stuff. And I think that's having him come along like that is relationship between you and him, but also his training, you might say, other than
no, you're exactly right,
other than regular school, you know.
I mean, it builds a lot of things that he's going to utilize as an adult. Yeah, and a lot of common sense too. Don't stand in front
of common sense, a lot of skills. Taking that Hummer-Bee and being able to get the forks in underneath the pallet. Learning,
mechanical skills. Yeah,
mechanical skills and stuff like that. And I've heard a story here where you have a family that has a house and a yard, and they mow the grass, and the mother wouldn't let the son run the riding lawnmower. And then as parents get seasoned, I'll say, then the next kid, which happened to be a girl, she got to do running the riding lawnmower. Well, guess who was easier to get their driver's license? The boy couldn't get it, but the girl did, because she had that experience of running that piece of machinery and driving, and that kind of thing. So it's that's kind of here, like you say, on a regular farm, you're running tractors, you're running machinery, you understand mechanics and all that stuff, and it helps you when you grow up.
So let's see.
I got this question from Thomas. It sounds like he's from Canada. I'm not familiar. I haven't seen his name before pop up in chats. But anyway, yeah. So he wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah, we have shipped queens to Canada before. There is a process in our end. All we have to do is just get our ag commissioner to come out to. They take some testings of varroa and some, making sure there's no crazy viruses, right, in our breeders. And then they'll go out to one of our main yards. But they test the breeders that we plan on shipping queens from, and then they go out to a yard to do like varroa test and virus testing in those, and then they give us a certificate that we then can ship queens. But there has to be someone on that end, and I think and it's unfortunate because he did a lot of work, but James McNally, you guys know,
yeah, we know James.
Yeah, so James, he was going through a process, and that was almost a few years back where we were just so slammed, and he did the process up there trying to see if he could take some of our queens so he can have some of our stock, and then it just ended up not working out just on our end. We got too slammed. But I know there's things that Canada residents need to do, and I don't know quite what that is, but James McNally really knows like that side of it, as far as what the receiver needs in Canada. Let's see and back, I saw a question a while back, but on the weaker hives we use just one pad, and then but most of the hives got 2 pads of the Formic Pro, which to me, I'm all about just cleaning house,
All 3 of us that were at EMBA, we learned a little trick from Kent that I would have never really thought about. But you use the 1 pad of Formic, and you put in the center, you break up that cluster, and get them moving around, and then you hit them with the OA after that. And it really, I guess it's a 1-2 punch that he uses.
Like OA in a strip or like a pad or like
well, the Formic pad. He'll put the Formic pad on one.
Okay.
Charlie, help, or Bryan.
Well, what he did was he put the Formic pad on, which in turn makes the queen stop for so many days.
Oh, that's right. That's the most important part.
And then he comes back, I think it's 24 days later, where there's I'll say open brood. There's no, cap brood. And he hits them with OA vapor.
You got about a 3-day window.
Yeah. And it's kind of like having a brood. You self-inflict a brood break to that hive. And then you can come back so many, like say 24 days, I think he said, and hit them with OA vapor. And then you got a good mite kill.
Yeah.
Where you get the mites underneath the capping, because there's not really much cappings there.
Yeah.
Oh man, you better go fast if you have a lot of hives.
Yeah. He probably does it. Well, yeah, he'd have to pretty much do it.
He's got what, a couple thousand hives, maybe?
Yeah. I'm sure they're not next to each other, but he's got to do them pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I talked to him several years back, I mean, he was running bees down around the Mississippi area from Kentucky, and then he was also putting them out in almonds too, and all that. So with the folks out, the commercial guys that's running almonds, they're looking for a lot of bees for better grade. So is it mostly Italian type of breed?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, what you're going to see out there is Italian stock in the queens or the bees. I mean, you do see a lot of darker Carnolian style ones, but for the most part, but those are the guys that are coming from like Washington. There's a lot of Washington guys and Oregon guys that like to run the darker bees. But I mean, end game is if you're in pollination, you're running numbers. You want population, and for us, we were running Italian hybrids. That's kind of I love diversity in the genetics. I love hybrids, and that's mainly what we run in our own apiary. Is just genetic diversity is like, to me, is so important, and just those mutts really do a lot of good work, So
I love those carnies you have. I got to get some more going again. They're
hey,
awesome.
it's going to be double this time.
Hey, maybe I could drive up there and work off some of that.
I'm still waiting for you to come out 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
And you both live in the same state.
Yeah,
I know.
probably about 5 hours, a 5-hour drive. It's not that far.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Jose, who are your main customers? Are they the commercial guys? Are they like local stores out of state? Are they sideliners? All the above? Who do you
All
find?
of the,
Yeah,
I would say all the above. We like to leave at least a certain amount for backyard sideliners, just because, I mean, end of the day, I started promoting everything on YouTube. That's how I started, right? That's because I needed to find in an industry that's so congested with so many options, right? Our avenue was try to go, oh, we're gonna just start the YouTube channel, which was a great success for us, to build a name, brand, and share our story to everybody. So that's why we at least like to reserve queens for people that helped us in the beginning, right? This backyard beekeepers, sideliner beekeepers, and we like to cater. We used to ship like 1 queen, 2 queens, but because it's still just myself and Kelly, like we had to at least have a minimum, which was like 10 queens. And yeah, we do get some people that have, man, I still remember some names that pop up in our comments here and there. And even we don't put as much as we even used to. Hopefully that changes soon. But they'll call us directly and say, hey, can you ship me like 1 queen? And now we're on the live, so now I'm like, oh man, everyone's gonna know the secret. Just call me, So I mean, I'm a sucker. I like to cater to people that have supported us and continue to support us. But the commercial guys do really wipe us out. They wipe us out. So we have to save a certain amount every year for friends, for people that have supported us, really.
Yeah,
sure. So help that customer that really doesn't know what it's like for a commercial queen rear on a day-to-day basis. Imagine an average beekeeper in, I don't know, maybe Maryland, who puts in an order for 10 mated queens in April for you. They go on their computer, they order 10 queens, you get the order. What does that look like? You get an email, and then what? Then what happens?
Yeah, so I mean, thankfully I got Kelly, because it used to be call in, right? So they would call, and then I'd have to write it down, and then I give it to Kelly. Now Kelly's made it very convenient. We have a Shopify system. She tells me, hey, Jose, how many queens are we expecting on this round, this round, this round, and this round, right? So then we have a certain amount available, and then we obviously we reserve some on the side that we have as backups. And you go on Shopify, you order the queen, and then that person in Maryland will get notified via email that you're locked in with that queen order, and I will reach out usually around a week to 2 weeks prior the queens being shipped, just to give an update, just to see if you're ready. And then I always call the day before, just to make sure, because we have life that happens for most of us. And
sure.
I always like to make sure, hey, Todd, are you ready for your queens? They're coming. Or do you want us to delay? We can delay another week or whatnot, because we only ship on Mondays.
You're coordinating that delivery with your customer.
With my customer, yeah, just to make it easy for everybody, because we don't want a queen just to go out, be left on a patio in this 30 degrees or 100 degrees.
Sure.
It just saves a lot of trouble for everybody that the queens need to be catered, taken care of, and I'm always ready on the phone if you have folks that are new to bees and want to order, like, hey, do you need help installing? We will walk you through the whole thing. I'm always on Bluetooth, even if I'm wrangling queens. I will do whatever I can to help you and assist you how to set up a queen bank if you're not ready. To like, hey, okay, well, let's go out to your bee yard and I'll stay on the phone and walk you step by step how to do it. So, I mean, luckily we're still small enough that I can do that. And I think we'll remain, at that scale where I'm still able to do that. And Kelly's very educated with the queens too, that she, I won't put her phone number on there, but because she wants me to take care of this stuff, just because she loves handling all the online stuff for us. And I'm the guy that's just trying.
You're the field guy. She's the administrator.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
And for my wife and I, it's been super helpful to have clear roles. This is your role. This is my role. So we're not stepping over each other's toes. So if that person wants their queens on Friday, what does that look like? When do they get pulled? When do they get packaged? When do they go to the post office? How does that work?
So we only ship on Mondays. So that's the only ship day, just because we're small, right? And we like to keep. Yeah. I need to keep a schedule, obviously. So I only ship on Mondays. So typically they are caged the week before, and there's a reason why we keep them at least a few days with us, because after caging we have to have them banked in our bank for at least 3 days. That way we can monitor to make sure. Whoever, if it's myself or one of our gals, because we usually will have 2 gals that will help me cage or catch queens, or Kelly, if whoever it is, right? It could be me. If that queen was mishandled, she would die in those 3 days.
Right.
If she can survive those 3 days, she's good to go. She's going to be, she's going to, travel safe. And that Monday I will package it. That morning I'll package it, make one last touch, phone call. If I didn't get a chance to speak with them, hey, ready to go right before I seal the package, just because I want to make sure. Drop it off at UPS. So we drive it there to the airport, because we don't want the queens to be in transport. Sometimes we get, if it's 90 degrees, that van is 105.
50.
So yeah, I mean, they get hot. So we actually take them directly to the airport, and from there they're loaded onto the plane. So, and then
there's like a UPS place at the airport that you drop that package off at?
Yeah, no, well, it's to the actual airport. So, but yeah, they have their own plane at the airport. So we'll drive out there and drop it off, and then they'll receive the queen. We overnight air everything. We don't use the postal service. We've tried that route to cater to some folks. The postal service for us has not been good, and that's we only use FedEx. The only company that we trust. They deal with all of the queen breeders in Northern California. They know what they're doing, and they really prioritize, taking care of these queens. They know us by name. We'll drop off some honey just to sweeten the deal. And I recommend this to everybody. If you get to know your UPS driver, especially if you're ordering queens, because by then, if you get to know them, you could call them and just say, hey, where are you at? So I can meet you, get my queens. So they are not in that truck hot,
Bouncing around.
And I've recommended that to so many people, especially now that UPS has, I don't know if you guys know, you can't just go into the UPS office because they shut down the customer centers all over the country.
I didn't know that.
So usually if you want it held for pickup, now you have to you have to know where you're going. So you have to communicate with that UPS customer center manager. Tell them I have queens coming in. Where do I go? And you have to go through the back to the loading dock area to pick up your queens. But that's just one of those things that we had to try to figure out last year because they shut all the customer centers down, and you couldn't go into the office to pick up your queens. But they just do a great job, and I mean, this good company. Do we have hiccups? Yeah, there's hiccups.
Now, is it UPS or FedEx?
UPS.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think. On our end, FedEx does not ship queen bees.
Okay.
They do. I just got some.
Oh, do you?
I got some from Hawaii on Tuesday.
Oh no, but for us to be able to ship out. California. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I think,
but you're right. Yeah, I've seen some of the guys that I know got some Kona.
I think what's good for you is that the people in your location deal with all these queen breeders, and they're used to that, and they understand the situation, how fragile the situation is. But once it leaves there, they
catch.
Yeah.
Either that or that stings. I'm not going to touch it. Put it outside, or something like that.
Yeah.
You ready for another question, Jose? I think I know the answer.
Yes.
All right. From Mark Miller. So,
Jose, what race are you? No, okay.
So he wants to know what's the dominant bee year after year.
In our company, it's the Italian hybrid. Yeah.
How far behind is the Carney in popularity, at least in your operation?
So what was that?
How far behind is the Carney in your operation as far as popularity?
Oh, not far, not very far. Yeah. I really enjoy the it's just a lot of effort, to be honest, Todd. A lot of effort to actually get them once we get cold here, we get a little bit colder than you guys do, just a little bit. Man, they shut down.
Yeah.
And for me to just keep them stimulated is just more work. Yeah. And it's just a little bit easier just to keep those the Italian stock a little stimulated. But it's okay. You want them to shut down in the winter, You need that brood break to just be able to catch up and keep things regulated.
You just sparked something, a question for me or from me. So this year, did your Italians go through a break?
Yes, they did. We got a little bit cold in December. We had like a 2-week cold spell. Yeah. So ours did shut down.
Because they didn't shut down here. They were bringing pollen in just all through winter, and I don't know where it came. I think it came from the wild mustard and the wild radish. Yeah. So it was crazy. They're already plugging out brood nests right now. It's going to be 80 here on Saturday. I'm probably going to see clouds of bees flying by.
You better start setting up those swarm traps.
My insurance boxes, yeah.
Now you were saying you have Italian hybrid is it mixed with another bee in the terms of that?
Yeah. So so the hybrid is just, it came off of, obviously, one of our daughters are just regular Italians. And just throughout the years, it's because we do everything open mated for the ones, all the stock that we sell. And eventually, when I first started, we ran a lot of Cordova stock just because I liked population and I wanted to grow and grow and grow. But then I started getting away from that, introducing Italian. And then from there, it was New World Carnolians. When I first started, I ran a lot of New World Carnolians. just because I wanted to build a good hardy hybrid. Because the more I learned about the just genetic diversity and the resilience towards like mites, diseases, and just being able to even just being the environmental issues that we have here in California to be like resilient towards the heat, I knew that we needed the Cordovan with the Italian and the New World Carnolian. And eventually I just think with the open mating, we were able to see these tiger striped Italians that just were really looking like they were performing above all the other ones. Not by a lot, but just like these small changes of growth as far as in the spring buildup, how good they survive through the winters, and for us it was which ones are going into the almonds, and it's always for us it was always those Italian hybrids, and I mean that's what kind of pays the bills, so that's what we focused on.
Right. So it's basically a
like a mutt.
Yeah, mutt that you've got a little bit of everything, but it's finally kind of funneling down to this Italian with some other different genetics over the years, like you said. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's another question. So
I have never ran a buckfast. I know this area there was a beekeeper that did run it, and I mean I spoke with them about it once, but I don't think it was I mean for our area I don't think it was ideal, but I've never ran a buckfast.
Yeah,
and what I've heard is that is there a buckfast bee out there anymore since Brother Adam? Because I think they were talking about getting them over there from the Abbey, and I don't think they have the genetics that are purebred. You know, they follow the genetics like you're following genetics on your hybrid queen. You got this queen, this queen, this queen, and it's kind of in a melting pot. And I'm not sure whether buckfast is true buckfast, if not, But I think I've heard them that they either shut down or something. So some people had got them, and they weren't real pleased with them. And now
the conversation. I'll have to ask one of my good friends. He has a big, massive operation. He's just south of us. He has some buckfast breeders. I would have to ask him and see what.
I mean, I'm not, by no means, and it's just what I kind of heard. There was some discrepancy of who was running the apiary over there at the Abbey versus if they were getting true lineage.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to ask my buddy because he's the one that's supplying Man Lake with these buckfasts. I just saw this comments here, and
now Parrot Farms there. That's Judd. He's up in New York, so he's in the cold country. So you have to look at that too. Where you're located at, what kind of works best in the climate that you live in.
Correct. Yeah, bee pollination. There you go. Whoever put that. That's John Foster. They're a massive operation up here. They run around 35,000 hives, around maybe 70,000 nukes. They're good friends of ours.
Here's a good question. So, your bees are born and bred here, but how would they do in a colder climate?
Well, I mean, I think it's all depends on as far as like if you take my hybrid and ran it in Washington or I mean our bees do great in Wyoming. They've wintered there. One of my we have a lot of customers that sometimes just stay there for Wyoming and come out in the winter. Great looking bees. Wyoming gets pretty stinking cold, but they do put them in their little storage places. It stays around I think 25 degrees.
So Wyoming's running a lot of bee barns then.
A couple of my buddies have some. They're not bee barns. It's just a shop. It's just to help keep the hives at least somewhat regulated. Yeah. So it's not like the potato sheds in Idaho. I mean, which it was a warm year to be in the sheds. I heard a lot of bad stories there, but I think they would do great. Cordovans, I don't think they do good anywhere that's cold. Those are the ginger red bees.
Yeah.
So I think I saw a question about what was it? Breeder selection on mite loads. No, I just on the whole breeder selection depending on my mite loads. That's something that I was talking to Ray Oliveras here, man, last spring, and he was telling me about Randy and they got the program with the Golden West, and I mean he's one of the few that I know that really started honing in on breeder selection with as far as your mite loads and actually building a resistant stock. I haven't ran any of the Golden West. But Ray really does like his Golden West, the ones that they raise out there. So, but no, I would like to get into something like that. That would be a good thing. I think if every breeder started doing things like that, of breeder selection based on mite loads, would be really good. But it's we all treat at some level, so how good is it really, and Randy just has it dialed in. He doesn't treat, so
he's going to be down here on Saturday for our bee symposium. So
really?
Yeah, I get to hear him. Yeah,
but like you were saying about Randy not treating, now I've read some of the articles and listened to him, and where he's like you did. It's over years of time of selecting this hive here did great with hardly any mite loads at all. Well, then he puts it in that special area where those bees are at. And it's like with you're selecting the Italian bee, but then you're adding all these other genetics in there in order to come up with what you have with the hybrid and all. And it takes a long, long time. And it also takes, you have to get into a level of training to recognize all that type of selection and try to map out or document your lineage in order to get that done.
Yeah, and is there going to be hiccups along the way? Yeah, because sometimes we're not going to nail it every single time, but I think that's the whole goal, is to at least have so many different options and different selecting multiple rather than just focusing on one little thing, selecting so many different ones, and one of them's going to be the solution or that you're looking for, or what you're looking for as far as good traits in one product, but it could only live from that one, right? Because you're not going to get that same identical one off of those daughters, but you're hoping that you get most of it, right? At least those similar traits into those daughters. And with
if you're open mating, like you say, you're not going to get duplication. I don't know whether AI would, where you're getting the semen from the drones from that one particular hive that you really like, of that queen, in order to put it in the next, in artificial insemination, in order to maybe get that line started.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bringing in good drone stock in, from those potential breeders, mother breeders that are, just throwing in some drone brood in those areas just to make sure you're saturated enough with the stock that you're hoping to get. But again, I mean, you have neighbors that are not keeping their boys out of my yard, So
True. Or they don't treat or stuff like that.
oh yeah, but
And then they kill your bees.
yeah.
Well, we had one guy that was at EMBA, and he had, let's say, 100 or 50 or 100 hives, and somebody moved in next door that didn't do anything, and all his bees died. And guess what? All his bees died too, because they came over and robbed and everything else.
Man, it's tough. It's tough, but I mean, I think these tools that you guys provide, like having these open conversations, really do help at least plant a seed of that, how important it is to treat at some level, right? If it's organic, if it's mechanical, just being able to treat and just do it, because we're not going to see these mites go away, and we're definitely going to be seeing, the trophy mite here soon, next 5 years, I'm sure. So
hopefully not.
About that. Well, it is almost 8:30, but I want to ask Bryan and Charlie if they have any last questions, or if anybody has any last question they want to put on the chat for Jose. And because Jose's a dad, he's got young kids. It's 8:30 our time, so his kids are, probably starting to
get ready for bed. Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, you want to see them before they go to bed. So Bryan, any last questions for Jose?
Yeah, first of all, Jose, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it tonight. I love this conversation about genetic selection and thoughtfulness around queen genetics. What do you think the future is around hygienics and mite resistance in the future?
Well, with everything, I'm really optimistic that when people are, it seems to me that people are more open to sharing their work nowadays than before. I believe there's a new generation of new and upcoming beekeepers that are wanting this industry to keep living and not dying. It reminds me of like the dairy industry and how even the chicken industry, how it's just seemed almost like collapsing and became so like almost like a corporation, not so much as like family farms, right? And I believe that there's a lot of guys that are working hard. Even, I mean, people like Randy is just an amazing guy to just be able to share all of his work. I mean, he truly is an unbelievable guy to be able to share everything that he's been doing for so many years. And I mean, I stay optimistic with everything that we do, and I think the industry is going to keep living. I think we're going to figure out when the trophy mite gets here, we'll figure it out, just like we did, before my time when it was, the trachea mite, and then the varroa mite when it came in the late 80s. We're going to figure it out. I mean, we have all the right tools and a bunch of different collaborating minds that are working to keep this industry alive. And so I think it's not going to go anywhere. And we just need to kind of, those people that are interested in bees and or even on here that are just looking to just hear a chat, just supporting your local beekeepers and networking and really just keeps everything rolling for everybody, because it's not a competition really, it's just it's kind of friendly competitions, but it's all about just kind of just helping each other to get through, because we're all dealing with the same struggles as far as in this industry. And honey prices are crap, and I think it's important for guys to or people in general to tell their friends, like, it's going to cost too much for me to send you honey, but I know this beekeeper out there in Illinois. He's a good guy, family guy, owns his bees. Go buy some honey from him. Just telling friends, like, hey, go support your local beekeeper, buy their honey, because that's what's going to sustain us. And I'm excited. This
Cool.
Beekeeping is not going anywhere. Great industry, and just what Cayman's doing also with the kids there of the generation, the next gen. That's incredible, and we need more of that. We need more stuff like that in the 4-H program for bees. So
cool. Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, for sure.
Charlie, any
No,
questions?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
You want to see my muscles, Charlie?
Well, Jose, I want to thank you so much for coming on. When we talked on Sunday, you gave me kind of like a time frame, but you know what, you went beyond that. So I really appreciate you. Everybody got it
really easy. What you guys are a great group of guys. I remember you guys for forever. I mean, you guys are awesome. What you guys do, it's kind of neat. You guys have this little stream too now, and thank you for inviting me. Really, it's a lot of fun. I haven't done one of these in I think over a year, and I'm glad you reached out, man.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you can make it tonight. It really had a lot of information for people, and people took bits here and there, whatever they needed. I'm sure it's going to help somebody. But before we go, tell everybody, if they want to order queens, how do they do it from you?
Okay, yeah. You will go on our website, which is the California Beekeeper that's the email. So www.thecaliforniabeekeeper. You could just look it up. It'll be under the Shopify, and you place your order of whatever you need there. And all of our social media platforms, from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, it's all the California Beekeeper. And awesome. Then phone numbers there. If anyone ever has a question, I'm always on the Bluetooth. If they just want to have how to stack a super on a hive, I'm there for you. So whatever you need, we're there, ready to help.
And I'll tell you what, he's not lying when he has his Bluetooth on, because there's been certain times of the day that I've called and like, no way he's going to pick up, but I'll try anyway. And there he picks it up. He's like, hey man, what's up? So yeah, he's always available. So, again, thank you, Jose. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. Bryan, I hope you have a good night as well, and we'll be talking soon. And Charlie, thanks again for jumping on. And and then Jose, if you can hang out for a second, please do when we end the stream. Okay, don't go anywhere. Okay. All right, everyone. Bryan, I looked at the calendar. It looks like maybe March 12th would be the next one.
March 12th, I'm there.
We could talk about that more, but okay. So
help me in.
All right. Well, again, everyone, thank you for jumping on and watching this show. I hope you had fun, and we will talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Take care.
Night all.